Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a question that will shake you right now. If your mind has been programmed by fear, by doubt, by lack, by failure, why not take control and reprogram it for success, abundance, and purpose in just 7 days? See, the truth is, your brain has already been washed. Every commercial, every social media scroll, every conversation you've had since you were a child has been brainwashing you. The problem is, most of it washed you into mediocrity instead of mastery, into poverty instead of prosperity, into settling instead of soaring. But here's the good news. You can brainwash yourself on purpose. And in the next 7 days, if you commit, you can rewire your entire mental operating system. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and realizing that the way you think, the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, none of it actually came from you. It was handed to you, spoon-fed into your mind from the time you were a child. Teachers, parents, television, social media, friends, coworkers, all of them have been whispering, shouting, and repeating messages until your subconscious believed them as truth. That's brainwashing. And here's the catch. You didn't choose most of those messages. They chose you. They shaped your identity, your money mindset, your sense of possibility, and even your fears. And now, years later, you wonder why you hesitate when opportunity knocks, why you shrink back when boldness is required, or why you keep telling yourself stories about what you can't do. The truth is simple. Your mind has already been brainwashed. The only question is, who has been in control of the programming? The world will brainwash you into believing that your average, that wealth is for the lucky few, that success requires connections you don't have, or that your background determines your ceiling. Those messages slip in quietly. And before you know it, they feel like facts. But they're not facts, they're programs. They're lines of code running in your mental operating system. And here's where the shift happens once you recognize that brainwashing is not optional. You get to choose who writes the code. You can decide to program your mind for abundance, for resilience, for boldness, and for victory. That is power. So let me ask you, if you had the ability to erase years of negative programming and replace it with a new system designed for success, wouldn't you do it? Of course you would. And that's exactly what can happen in the next 7 days if you make the decision. Think about it. 7 days is all it takes to begin turning the tide of decades of conditioning. 7 days of intentional focus can do what years of passive consumption never did. Your brain is not concrete, it's clay. It's moldable. It can be reshaped if you expose it to the right words, the right ideas, the right environment. But here's the hook. You cannot afford to let someone else continue driving your mental car. If you let society steer, you'll always end up at the destination of mediocrity. If you let fear steer, you'll always arrive at regret. But when you take the wheel, when you choose the direction, when you deliberately brainwash yourself with truth, faith, and vision, you rewrite your future. This isn't about wishful thinking. This is about neurological reality. Your brain literally creates new pathways when you change what you feed it. The lies lose their grip. The fear loses its hold. The doubt loses its power. You've already seen it in action. Think about the times you've repeated something to yourself over and over until it became second nature. Maybe it was a song lyric, a phrase, or even someone's opinion of you. You didn't even try to memorize it. It just stuck. That's the power of repetition. Now imagine turning that power on your goals, your dreams, your identity. Imagine repeating so often, so consistently, I am worthy, I am capable, I am called, I am wealthy, I am disciplined, that your brain has no choice but to accept it as truth. That's not fantasy, that's brain science. And that's the opportunity sitting right in front of you. The reason so many people stay stuck isn't because they lack talent. It's because they allow the world to keep brainwashing them into smallness. They give up control of the script playing in their minds. But the ones who rise, the ones who stand out, the ones who create generational impact, they are the ones who decide to wash their minds daily with what empowers them instead of what enslaves them. That decision is available to you right now. So I challenge you for the next 7 days, stop letting old programming run unchecked. Interrupt the cycle. Begin deliberately replacing what was handed to you with what you choose. Don't let fear be your teacher. Don't let doubt be your mentor. Don't let scarcity be your daily bread. You get to decide what your mind consumes. And if you decide, you will begin to see evidence of that new programming show up in your life faster than you think. Because the moment you take control of your mental environment, your future is no longer left to chance. It's placed firmly in your hands. Every limitation you are living under right now began as a single thought, a whispered lie that took root in your mind and disguised itself as truth. Someone said you weren't smart enough, strong enough, connected enough, or worthy enough. And over time, you repeated it so often that it became a part of your identity. That's how powerful words are. They don't just describe your reality, they define it if you allow them to. But the great news is this: just as you once repeated lies until they felt like facts, you can now repeat truth until it breaks the lies and creates a new reality. You don't have to accept what was handed to you. You get to replace it. Here's the hook. If the story you've been telling yourself has the power to hold you back, then imagine what a new story could do to set you free. If the phrase, "I can't," has stopped you from pursuing opportunities, then how unstoppable would you become if your default phrase became, "I will"? That shift is not just motivational fluff. It's a complete reprogramming of your inner operating system. The words you speak about yourself aren't just sounds. They are commands to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious is obedient. It doesn't argue. It doesn't debate. It accepts what you feed it, and then it goes to work proving it true. When you wake up every day and declare, "I am disciplined, I am focused, I am favored, I am worthy of wealth and success," you aren't just saying positive things. You are rewiring your brain to recognize possibilities you couldn't see before. Suddenly, opportunities that seemed invisible show up. Ideas that once felt impossible become manageable. And confidence that seemed out of reach becomes natural. Why? Because you are no longer living under the programming of lies. You are feeding your mind new instructions, and your life is adjusting to match them. But here's where most people miss it. They think silence will save them. They believe that if they just stop saying negative things, everything will be fine. But silence leaves a vacuum, and a vacuum will always be filled. If you don't deliberately fill it with power, it will automatically fill with the same old fear and doubt. That's why replacing lies is not optional. It's essential. You can't just remove the old story, you must replace it with a new one. If you don't, the old one will sneak back in and reclaim its position. Think of it this way: your mind is like a playlist on repeat. If the songs are toxic, they will poison your mood and your motivation every time they play. But you don't fix that by leaving the playlist blank. You fix it by loading new songs, songs that inspire, strengthen, and align you with who you are becoming. Every affirmation, every declaration, every word of truth is a new track on the playlist of your destiny. The more you play it, the deeper it gets into your system until you can't help but dance to its rhythm. So ask yourself, what lies have you been repeating? Maybe it's, I'll never get out of debt, or I'm not cut out for business, or people like me don't succeed. Those phrases are not innocent. They are chains. And every time you repeat them, you tighten the lock. But when you begin to declare the opposite, I am financially wise, I am a builder, I am chosen to succeed, you begin unlocking yourself. At first it may feel awkward, even unbelievable, because your old programming fights back. But repetition is stronger than resistance. If you repeat truth long enough, it becomes louder than the lies, and eventually the lies lose their grip entirely. The world is waiting for the version of you that believes in your worth, that walks in authority, that speaks life over your own destiny. You cannot unleash that version until you replace the story playing in your head. Your future does not respond to what you fear, it responds to what you declare. And every declaration is either tightening your prison or opening your gates. If you want freedom, if you want abundance, if you want victory, you must start talking like it. Not someday, not when conditions are perfect. Today. Because the words you speak today are building the life you'll live tomorrow. Look around your life right now, and you will see the reflection of your environment staring back at you. Your thoughts, your habits, your confidence, even your income, are all being influenced by the voices you allow to speak into your mind. It is impossible to surround yourself with negative, fearful, or small-minded people and expect to rise above that atmosphere. Just like you can't stand in smoke and not come out smelling like it, you cannot sit in toxic conversations, constant complaining, or scarcity thinking and not absorb it. That's why if you want to brainwash your mind for greatness, you must flood your environment with faith-filled voices, empowering messages, and success-driven people while ruthlessly eliminating the noise that keeps you average. Here's the hook. You don't just rise to the level of your potential, you sink or soar to the level of your environment. That's why two people with the same talent can have completely different outcomes. One surrounds themselves with doubters, the other with believers. The first is talked out of their dream. The second is encouraged into action. Who you listen to determines what you believe. And what you believe determines how far you go. Think about it. If every day you are listening to people say, money is evil, success is impossible, the system is rigged, or why bother trying? How could you ever develop the mental framework necessary to build wealth or create opportunities? Those phrases don't just hit your ears, they sink into your subconscious. They become programs shaping how you think, how you act, and even how you perceive your own ability. But when you intentionally surround yourself with voices that say, abundance is available, discipline produces results, you are capable, you are chosen, those words also sink in. They become the software that powers bold decisions and courageous moves. That is why one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make is to change the input. Shut off the channels of negativity. Turn down the volume of doubters. Stop entertaining the constant drip of fear-based conversations. Because your environment is not neutral. It is either building your faith or feeding your fear. There is no middle ground. Every voice is a seed, and seeds always grow into something. The question is, do you want a harvest of faith or a harvest of fear? Here's where it gets even more practical. Your environment is not just people, it's everything you consume. It's the books you read, the podcasts you play, the videos you watch, the accounts you follow. Every time you scroll, you are either reinforcing old limitations or building new possibilities. Most people don't realize they're paying with more than time. When they consume content, they're paying with their mindset. Every meme, every post, every conversation deposits something into your spirit, and you can't afford to keep depositing garbage if you want to withdraw greatness. But let me hit you with this truth. When you flood your environment with faith-filled, success-driven input, you create a new normal. What used to feel impossible now feels expected. What used to intimidate you now excites you. The standard rises, and you rise with it. Have you ever noticed how being around ambitious people makes you more ambitious? That's not an accident. That's the environment at work. Just like an athlete trains better around other athletes, you perform at a higher level when you're in the company of those who think bigger, move faster, and believe deeper. Some of you right now need to make a decision to let go of voices that are weighing you down. It might be a friend who constantly complains, a family member who mocks your dreams, or an online feed filled with negativity. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love your future more. Protect your mental space like your life depends on it, because it does. Your life will never outgrow the level of voices you allow to speak into it. So ask yourself today, what's louder in my life? Faith or fear, encouragement or discouragement, vision or doubt? And once you answer honestly, decide which one you're going to keep feeding, because what you feed grows and what you starve dies. If you starve the voices of doubt and feed the voices of faith, your environment becomes a greenhouse for your destiny. And when your environment shifts, your outcomes shift. It is easy to sit in a room, speak affirmations, and feel good about the words rolling off your tongue. It is powerful to write in a journal, visualize success, and imagine the future you desire. But none of that matters if it never translates into bold action. Faith is not proven in what you say, it is proven in what you do. Inspiration without execution is wasted energy. Affirmations without alignment are just noise. You can declare abundance all day, but if you never make the investment, take the risk, or put in the work, abundance will remain a theory instead of a reality. Here's the hook. Words may plant the seed, but only action waters it. Without watering, the seed dies. The universe does not reward intention. It rewards movement. You can't think your way into a new life. You must act your way into it. Every bold move you take is proof that you actually believe what you've been declaring. Saying, "I am disciplined," means nothing if you never show up consistently. Saying, "I am wealthy," means nothing if you keep making broke decisions. But when your actions line up with your affirmations, you create a force so strong that results become inevitable. Think about how many people have talked themselves into greatness but never acted on it. They've read the books. They've listened to the speeches. They've written the vision boards. But they stayed in the same place because they never moved. And then they wonder why the affirmations didn't work. Affirmations are not magic spells. They are commands to your subconscious. And your subconscious needs evidence. When you say, "I am a builder," and then you take action by starting the project, making the call, or sending the proposal, your mind sees the proof and reinforces the belief. But when you say, "I am a builder," and then sit idle, your mind becomes confused and the old lies creep back in. Bold action is the missing piece for most people. It doesn't have to be massive at first, but it must be decisive. Even the smallest step forward is stronger than the greatest intention left undone. Success compounds through movement. One step leads to the next. One phone call leads to a connection. One risk opens a door to an opportunity you could not have seen standing still. Action creates momentum, and momentum makes it harder for doubt to catch up with you. Here's the truth many avoid. Taking bold action feels uncomfortable. It feels like risk. It feels like stretching. It feels like stepping into the unknown. But discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Nothing extraordinary ever happens in the safety zone. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. Readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. The moment you step forward, the resources, the clarity, and the confidence begin to show up. That's how the process works. The doors don't open while you're standing still. They open while you're moving. So let me ask you, what is the action you've been postponing? Is it launching that business idea? Is it having the conversation you've been afraid of? Is it applying for the opportunity you feel underqualified for? Those are the very steps that will align your declarations with reality. Every time you move, even if it's imperfect, you are telling your subconscious, "This is who I really am." And when your subconscious believes it, your entire life begins to align with that new identity. You cannot pray for harvest and refuse to plant. You cannot declare wealth and keep making choices rooted in scarcity. You cannot speak discipline and keep feeding distraction. The power is not just in saying it, it is in proving it through what you do. Faith without works is dead, but faith with works is unstoppable. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who just talk differently, but the ones who also walk differently. So for the next 7 days, don't just speak it, move in it. Don't just declare it, demonstrate it. Don't just wish for it, work for it. Action is the bridge between your words and your world, between your faith and your future. And when you consistently take bold action, you don't just change your circumstances, you change your identity. You become the person you've been declaring all along, and the life you've been speaking begins to show up in undeniable form.